Good afternoon. I would like to welcome you to the regular scheduled meeting for February. Roll call, please.
Commissioners Deaver.
Here.
Vanessian.
Here.
Kivanian.
Here.
Wagner. Here. Chairperson Lee.
Here.
The agenda for the February 17th meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on February 11, 2011. Item 2, consent items. 2A, approval of the regular commission meeting minutes from January 20th, 2011 at 2 p.m.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioners Deaver.
Yes.
Vanessian.
Yes.
Kivanian.
Yes.
Wagner. Yes. Chairperson Lee.
Yes.
Item 3, introductions and presentations. At 3.1, introduction of the SpaceFinderLA.com project by Tamara O'Connor, Head of Special Projects, Community Arts Resources, and Terrence McFarland, Executive Director, LA Stage Alliance.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation to present our new project. I'm Terrence McFarland, Executive Director of LA Stage Alliance. We are a service organization, a nonprofit that's been serving the performing arts community of Greater Los Angeles since 1975. We pride ourselves on empowering artists and engaging audiences. The project we're going to talk about today, SpaceFinderLA.org, we're really excited about. It is a partnership with Fractured Atlas, a service organization out of New York, the LA County Arts Commission, I'm sure many of you know, headed by Laura Zucker, and Community Arts Resources. You'll hear from tomorrow shortly. Essentially what SpaceFinder LA will be, it will be an online searchable database of art spaces for the general public and for artists to use. Certainly we know the LA region, there are thousands upon thousands of these spaces and many organizations who are looking for performances, for rehearsal, recording, readings, castings, you name it. There's been a huge need in the community for this. There were, many years ago, a booklet that was created, but now in the internet age, obviously there's a great need and desire for a site like this. We're basing the program off of a successful implementation of a similar program both in New York and Philadelphia. And what you see on the screen here is Philly Space Finder. We'll be using the exact same platform, but it will be rebranded for the LA market. And as you can see, we won't go into too much detail here, but you can see you'll be able to search for, on the right-hand side, I need a space for rehearsals, performances, classes or instruction, auditions, showcases, photo, film, or video shoots, special events and parties, recordings, literary readings, meetings and workshops. We're thrilled that Fractured Atlas, who launched this program in New York, were able to secure funding from a variety of national funders to roll this out throughout the country. And LA was one of the key partners in making that happen here. And many of the municipal agencies in the LA County region are funding the implementation here. The reason to bring it up at the Commission, we're looking to get as many arts organizations to participate as possible. Certainly, we know that you all interface with all of your local groups here, so we urge you to spread the word. Tomorrow we'll be talking a little bit about the timetable on that. But again, thank you for the invitation. We're thrilled to be launching this. We'd love to include as many Glendale arts and culture organizations as possible. And then we'll have a public rollout in June. We'll be letting the public know about it. So with that, I'll invite Tamara to come up.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tamara O'Connor. I work for Community Arts Resources, which is a for-profit arts and consulting company that's been around for 25 years. And I happen to be a Glendale resident, so that's just kismet. So thank you for the invitation very much. We're really, really excited about SpaceFinder LA, which will include Glendale, of course. What we're going to be doing is having the site up and running on March 1st. The part of the task that our firm is responsible for is to get the venues to sign on. I am in charge of getting as many venues as possible in all of LA County to be on this by May. So we're looking at maybe 1,500, 2,000 sites. We have a relationship with a lot of large institutions where we produce a lot of their events. We produce everything for the Getty, we work for Norton Simon, we work for a lot of large places. But we want from you are all of the listings that the public would love to know about but they don't know about, whether it's something up at the Brand Library or a venue such as the Luna Playhouse or the small community church up in north part of Glendale that might be a rentable space. It could even be the restaurant that could have a dance rehearsal space. As many places as we can get, it's a win-win situation for the user and for the vendor. And I know as Glendale is positioning itself to be an institution, a city that welcomes arts and culture, and especially with the redevelopment of San Fernando corridor, all of those spaces that could be possibly gallery space. You know, I've been to some of the events in the city lately that I really feel the pulse changing here. I really feel like we're on the map, and I would like to have Glendale post more venues than many of I don't want to look at it as competition, but I think that what we offer might be something different from other communities. So what I'd like to do is just be able to keep in touch with you. You could either email Ripsy as many suggestions. I can't sign venues up. I have to have them sign themselves up. So what happens is they'll go on what will look like the Philly Space Finder, but it'll be called Space Finder LA. They'll be able to load up their own photos, their own floor plans, their rental information, their hours of operation, as much contact information as possible. It's totally free. It's just such a great opportunity, economically, artistically, and the usefulness. So you can either, Ripsy has my email information, but I will be reaching out to you. Terry, I'll probably send you an email along with a few of you to continue to remind you that as March 1st is when we're going to have our, quote, soft launch with the relationship building we're doing right now, where we're going out and speaking to organizations and commissions, and et cetera, so that when we get further down the road and new venues come on, they can see the legitimacy of the site, and they can see, oh, okay, well, the Alex Theater's on there. Wow, look how much information they're posting. I better do that too. So that's the project, and we're all really excited about it. So I'll be in touch with you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Tamara?
So,
Yeah, right. That's correct until another phase?
Sure.
Correct?
So there's a second iteration of the site, so it will be free always to list your site. There will be the ability to use it as an online reservation system, so in an internal management tool. Say I own a venue and I want potential renters to be able to book space next Thursday at 8 and do the transaction online. There will be fees associated with that, but it will always be free completely to list your site and include contact information so they can get in touch.
and do they decide what they charge for the use of the space?
Well, each venue will, yes, exactly.
Has its
own rental prices.
Okay.
And basically what we're doing is reaching out to venues March, April, and May. When a user comes on, which will the public launch will be June 1st, obviously we need as many venues on there as possible for the user to see what's there. So particularly, my firm is after the venue space. Eventually, you're going to see more blogs, more feature articles, more announcements about the entire site, and that's also for the user as well. But right now, we're reaching out to the venues in particular to get listed.
So you get paid for the other services, or how do you get funded? Just through grants?
So that we've secured funding from the philanthropic community to cover 3 years of support. There's an expectation that after that 3 years, the rental engine, where online transactions will be occurring, will be getting a fee off of that, and that will be able to sustain it in the long term.
So the people who use the spaces, you will be paid by them, the people who rent the spaces.
That's right. But also, just to further clarify, you don't have to charge a rental price on your venue to be included. We will also include venues that make their space available for free. So community spaces, that type of thing.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. Those venues, are they going to be used for performing arts only, or any owner can direct the renters if it can be used for a art exhibition or for other venues?
I think the umbrella is under the arts. I think we're focusing on performing arts, but if there is gallery space, if there's, rehearsal space, eventually, we'll be going out to also, possibly recording spaces and sound stages, et cetera, because that's basically what our city has to offer. But we're focusing on the performing arts first, but and that encompasses, theater, concerts, dance rehearsals, readings, poetry, a gallery.
And each venue will be able to self-identify within each of those categories of the applicable uses of their space.
And if you ever have nothing to do, you could go on the Philly Space Finder site right now, which has been up and running, and it's really fantastic to see how many spaces you can get just by doing a search within 5 miles, if you know the city of Philadelphia, which you may or may not. But it works really well, and we're really happy to be aligned with the company that is doing that site because it's high quality, it's very defined, it's very user-friendly. So I think it's going to be a great addition to not just Glendale residents, but people at large who want to come to Glendale to find space.
Well, we feel very strongly that this is a great project and we should share this with our art community. And in our March newsletter, we would like to have a link and information about the project. If you have any press releases, please go ahead and email it to me.
I will.
Sure.
Especially for the spaces like in the Parks and Recreation departments as well, because there will be a lot of crossover there. So I'll continue.
Thank you so much.
Are hotels? Anybody, right? Or
They could, but that's not our primary focus at this point because there already are those guides for commercialized events, so to speak. So our focus is there, but I do believe there's going to be crossover sooner or later. But we're going to be approaching the performing arts.
Again, as they self-identify uses that are applicable for arts and culture, certainly we're not going to turn anyone away.
But I have one more thought, and perhaps since this is not it is an agendized item, but questions that I would have going forward. We have an organization in the city that is doing some of or is planning some of the kinds of services that you're talking about. We have Glendale Arts that is, trying to be more of a centralized, promoter and booker of arts, and as our rep on that board, I think, are we setting up a competition? Are we at odds? And I see Alyssa shaking her head no. So we're all in this together, and we want to look out for our existing interests. And
our reach is going to be really, really county-wide. One of our big challenges is to get across the board, the ethnic communities or the geographic communities out in Palmdale, Lancaster. And I think that's really what's going to separate us. I think that if we're looking for the reach, and you're looking for the Glendale community, it's really two different things. And I think that we can really help each other. So,
And we certainly want to add value. We know within the 88 municipalities that there are similar efforts afoot. Mm-hmm. The more opportunities there are for potential renters to find spaces to use, it's a win-win for both sides. So we certainly want to duplicate anything that's happening, but we want to add. So we'll be calling Alyssa to make sure that all the groups that are listed in your site will be participating.
I just want to make the comment that I think it's a really exciting opportunity across the board for Los Angeles. It's such a scattered community that it's really hard to find centralized information. I think there's great opportunities for synergy with what Glendale Arts is doing, and I'm sure you guys are working together. If you're not, I hope you will be. And that I think it's a great opportunity in general for Glendale to be more on the map as people across the county are saying, oh, wow, we didn't know that there are opportunities here for rehearsal space and performance space and readings and arts activities. And the more people we can get here in Glendale utilizing our businesses and our services and experiencing our community, I think it's a win-win for everybody. So I'm really excited about it.
Thanks for your support. Thank you so much.
I was going to tag along with Commissioner Deaver on that. I think this is a fantastic idea. I constantly get my friends calling me. I'm a musician, so they call me and say, "Hey, Armand, do you know a rehearsal space in I don't know, South Glendale or something?" And I'm completely at a loss, and I tell them, Google it. So I'm glad that you guys are creating this kind of a resource because I think there's a definite need for that throughout the community.
So I would really like to be able to facilitate the hardcore listing of these venues, and even if it's a small rehearsal space that might be opening up, if someone has a band that needs rehearsal space, or someone who needs a stage, but would be the easiest thing. Would you send your ideas to Ripsy, and then we'll be talking? Would that be the best flow? Is that good? Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 4, oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not on this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Commission may question the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. Staff may refer the matter for investigation and report.
I have one from Elisa Glickman.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Elisa Glickman. I'm the general manager for Glendale Arts. Today I'm actually wearing another hat, which is as a committee member for an upcoming event that we have at the Alex Theater entitled Beneath the Veil. The event is taking place on March 11th. At 8 p.m., as I said, at the Alex Theater. And the show is actually symbolically titled Beneath the Veil. And the play essentially works to go beyond traditional stereotypes of this particular community, what these women go through in their day-to-day lives. It tells 10 different stories of 10 different women and their experiences across the board. It's an incredible play. It's played both at the Kennedy Center, the Lincoln Center, the Geffen Playhouse, and now it's making its way to the Alex Theater. And it's in conjunction with both International Women's Day, which takes place on March 8th, as well as Women's History Month, which takes place throughout the month of March. Tickets are currently on sale, and we hope that it's an opportunity for all of you to join us and to really see not only an incredible work by an incredibly talented woman, Mary Opik, who is a Persian-Armenian actress, writer, producer. This is essentially her show. She did it nuts and bolts. It really delves into a myriad of issues: culture, religion, women's health concerns. We just found out yesterday that Glendale Adventist Medical Center has come on board as a major sponsor for the event. Glendale Arts is a sponsor, and we have a wonderful group of community folks that are also involved. Some of the proceeds for the event will be going to the YWCA, as well as the Armenian American Medical Society's Women's Auxiliary. So again, I hope that you are all able to join us that evening. And I hope that some of your viewing audience will take a look at the show on the website. And as I said, tickets are currently on sale. And I thank Arlette for asking me to come today. She's also on the planning committee. And this week, the Women's Commission actually approved sponsorship and support of this event as well. So it really is an incredible citywide effort dealing with a really important issue. So I'm happy to try and answer any questions that you may have, but again, I encourage all of you, if you're available, to try and attend.
I would like just to add one thing. Mary Opik herself, she's a very well-known actress and a person who has been on the stage for many years. She says this is about anything that goes on under the veil. That means things that are kept under secret, and you need to know. It talks about some very sad situations, but as she put it, she said it's also very entertaining and very interesting. And there is an amusement. Life is a mixture of joy and laughter and sadness. So it's a combination of all. And I would really invite everybody to come and see this, because it would remind them of many things that is happening. She has also portrayed not only situations in the country of birth, but it is of many situations that happens nowadays all around the world. So it is very inclusive. The stories are very interesting and exciting. I'm very glad that you could make it today to come and talk about, because Alex Theater is really doing a fantastic job in accommodating this event, which is a major event. They have a gala event that is connected to it, and a red carpet event, and many, many others. So if you're interested, contact Lisa, and she would give you the details.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 5, business agenda. 5A, action items.
There is another one. Oh, I'm sorry. Anek Vartanyan will have a presentation too, under oral.
Okay.
I was waiting for staff comments, but I'm happy to speak now. Good afternoon. My name is Annette Bartani, and I'm with the Glendale Redevelopment Agency. I'm here to give you an update on one of our redevelopment programs, GATE, Glendale Area Temporary Exhibits. This is the program that puts art in vacant spaces throughout the downtown area. On February 25th, next Friday, we'll have a closing reception for the Increments exhibit at 101 North Brand. The event will take place in the evening starting at 6 p.m. and it will be at the same location where we had the opening reception. The artists will be there and they're actually going to reformat some of the artwork, so it will be extended in that space, but we're just having a closing reception. In addition to the 3 spaces that we've placed art in at 101 North Brand, we're actually putting window displays at the former Todai space, which is on the ground floor of the Glendale Galleria. On Broadway, there is a vacant space at 101 North Brand. It's most people don't know about it. It's actually the vacant space between BJ's and Islands on Broadway. That's going to have window displays, and one other vacancy located at 116 East Wilson will also have window displays. There's 2 Glendale artists that are going to be in these new exhibits. There's 2 or 3 that are currently on display at 101 North Brand. So I want to invite the commission as well as everyone in the community to come next Friday on the 25th at 101 North Brand in the evening to celebrate the closing reception of Increments. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I'm happy to announce that we've had a lot of support of the program, both local artists throughout the community, as well as the property owners who are finally seeing the benefit of this program. So thank you.
Annette, I want to thank you for coming and doing this presentation because it shows how committed City of Glendale is and your department, how much work is being put towards encouraging and promoting art in our community. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You ready to move forward?
Yes, next item.
Item 5, Business Agenda. 5A, Action Items. At 1, approval of changing publishing schedule for the Cultural Affairs e-newsletter from bi-monthly to quarterly, effective March 2011.
Commissioners, as you know, since April 2010, we have been publishing Cultural Affairs e-newsletter. With the help of Commissioner Deaver, we were able to use this very powerful marketing tool to get connected with our community, with our art community. He has been editing, designing, making the newsletter visually very engaging, and it proves to be a very effective way of being connected with our community. Recently, staff resources have been centralized on several new long-term projects, such as the Arts and Economic Prosperity Study and the public art projects, several public art projects. And we would like for the Commission to approve the change of the schedule, publish the e-newsletter from bi-monthly to quarterly, effective March 2011.
Move approval of the change.
Roll call, please.
Commissioners Deaver,
Yes.
Chair Hovhanessian,
Yes.
Evanian,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes, with thanks for all the work that has been put into it so far.
Chairperson Lee.
Yes.
Item 5A2, Selection of Glendale Winners of Bob Hope Airport Tower Banner Competition.
Okay, Bob Hope Airport Authority has sponsored the Tower Banner Competition once again, 4th year in a row, I believe since 2008, where all Burbank, Glendale, Pasadena high school students are invited to participate. The top 3 finalists, their works are presented today for you to select the winner. This year's theme is Up and Away. I should invite Mary Lamasa from Glendale Unified School District. She is the project manager. She will be able to give you more details about this year's competition.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Mary Lamassa, and I am the administrator for Glendale Unified School District's Visual and Performing Arts. And every year they have a competition, and we invite all the high schools, 9th grade to 12th grade, to participate in this Tower Banner contest. And what happens is we have a contest at the district level, and then we bring it to you to make the final decision. So it's all up to you to make that final decision about which artist is going to have their work presented on the Tower Banner at Burbank Airport. So this is a tough decision that you're going to have to make, and we have 3 finalists here that you see the pictures for. And this year's title is Up and Away. So we want to make sure that what goes on the Tower Banner depicts up and away. To do this, what do we have? Alice, would you help? We will have this.
Vanna White over here.
She works very nicely. Okay, picture number 1, picture number 2, and picture number 3. So what we can do is, for those who would like picture number 1.
Are we using our...
You have to use your rubric.
So should we just share our points, or how did we do it last time?
That's what I recalled that we did, is that we had some kind of hierarchical system of...
You have presented with you a rubric that really is useful in making sure that whatever is shown on the tower is very readable to the visitors.
Well, the commissioner has the criteria,
They're attached.
guidelines, and they had the images. Send it to them to be prepared. I'm sure they're ready.
Didn't put my total at the bottom, but yes.
The name of the artist will not be revealed, not until the end of the...
I'm not giving that information out yet.
I'm only kidding.
Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Not total points.
No, we'll
3.
go. This is 1, 2, and 3.
But we're giving our totals?
I'll just finally say which one was based on the
Okay,
total.
based on our totals, got it. Oh, my numbers are different. Okay, wait a minute. 1.
This is the most complicated thing this
two.
commission has ever had.
It's serious business.
This is our real work.
This is real work.
Okay. All right.
Just think, we had more to go through.
Are we going in a particular order, or?
Yeah.
Let's start from there.
Okay.
And I think what we did was somebody held a tally of how many first place.
You started with
do
the
that.
ranking of last to first, actually, is what you did. Is third place for you would be?
Okay. All right. Third place for me would be number 2. Second place for me would be number 3. First place for me would be number 1. 1, 2. Yes.
Okay.
I have to go the opposite direction because my numbers were reversed too. I
Okay.
apologize.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I start with number 1. Number 1 was number 3. Number 2 was number 1. Number 3 was number 2.
No.
No?
Number 1 is, what do you...
Horses is number 1.
Thank you. Yes, that number 1.
This one is
that-
number.
This
This
was number
was her
1.
first choice.
Oh, that
Number
means-
1 is her
Hold on,
second
hold on,
choice.
Hold on.
Okay.
And this is your second
It's
choice.
my second choice. Thank you.
And 2 is your third choice.
And 2 is your third choice. Okay? I'm glad we have tally.
No, don't worry. This one.
I'm going to be exactly with Commissioner Wagner. Number 3
Third
is
place?
third place.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
Number two is third place.
Third place?
Number 3 is second place, and first place would be number 1.
With me, number 3 is the first place, number 1 is the second place, and number 2 is the...
I actually had a change of heart last minute. Being artistic, it's natural. I'm going to say that number 3 is, and actually seeing it in person is actually much better than seeing it in these pictures. So it gives me a better idea. So number 3 is first. Number 1 is second, and number 2 is third.
Number 3 had the most votes for first place.
Okay. Who was second place, if I may ask?
Number 1 had the most votes for second place. And number 2, third place.
Okay.
Should I take a roll call on that? Commissioners Deaver,
Yes.
Vanessian,
Yes?
Evanian,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Chairperson Lee.
Yes.
This was, yeah,
Correct
up and
order?
away.
This is the correct order?
Yeah.
Okay.
And next year's is the Joy of, that was last year.
The Joy of
Okay.
Flight was last year. This is up and away. And this art piece was done by Christina Padilla from Crescenta Valley High School. So our first place winner was Christina Padilla. Our second place winner was Nicole Kwan, also from Crescenta Valley High School. And our third place winner is Cindy Yee, also from Crescenta Valley High School. So thank you so much. These art pieces will be submitted to Burbank Airport. The first place winner will be shown on the tower banner. The other 2 are displayed in 2 different places within the airport. So when you go into the airport, into Terminal A, on the right-hand side, around Bob Hope's bronze, you will see the artworks displayed there. And if you go into Terminal B, you will see an artwork board of all the works that these students have done from Burbank, Pasadena, and of course, Glendale. So thank you so much.
Can I say something? And just that just to convey to our district as well as the others, and certainly to Bob Hope Airport, what fun this is, and how proud I feel whenever I go to that airport and look up at the tower to be a little part of it and to think of the students who are doing the work. It really is such a special opportunity for those students and an uplifting experience for people about to get on a plane.
Absolutely. And not only do you see the student work displayed, but the Bob Hope Airport also provides the schools who participate. It's a money that we use, $3,000 for the arts programs. So that just makes sure that more art students working in the arts can have materials at the school site. So thank you so much for making this tough decision.
And I would like to congratulate the teachers of La Crescenta Valley.
This is Sarah Wiggins.
Yes, because it shows that she inspires kids, and you could see in different directions. Each work has its own merit, and it was beautiful work. The one that I think we got all as number 1 is phenomenal.
Amazing.
I'm willing to buy it one day.
Actually, I was going to suggest the same thing. I'd like to take a bid on that. I'm kidding. But no, really, that's why I had a change of heart, because, I mean, I was looking at the little images that we have in our packets, and the amount of detail that you actually can see, even from a distance from the larger work, was much different. So, I mean, just goes to show how much care we we kind of look at all this stuff, and with our rubrics and things, and it is probably, I'm not kidding you, this is probably the most complicated thing that we've had to deal with. Probably over once a year, this is probably the most complicated decision that we have to make. But with all joking aside, it really is a wonderful program, and we're really thankful for that.
Actually, we are looking forward each year to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, really.
I am so glad. I'm so glad. Thank you.
When can we see it there?
Well, usually it takes them a while. Their presentation is going to be next month, and then it takes a while to create the banners. And so our display will be up for a 4-month period, and I don't know exactly when, but if I can find out from Lucy Bergdorf of the Burbank Airport, I will certainly send it to you to make sure that the next time you get on the flight, you can say, that's the one we chose at Glendale.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Item 5B, reports, information only. 5B1, staff report regarding status of arts and culture projects, programs, initiatives.
Chairperson Lee, Commissioners, this item is on the agenda. Give you overview of all our current projects and activities that we've been doing here in our city. I would like to review the status of each item with you briefly. And Culture Commission, conducting monthly meetings, preparing agendas, reports, presentations, assisting commissioners with their inquiries, publicizing the meeting, distributing commission packets. This is an ongoing project. Arts and Economic Prosperity Study 4, representing City of Glendale as a primary contact person, managing data collection, updating the existing list of nonprofit organizations located in Glendale, publicizing the project, creating Microsoft Excel spreadsheet of eligible organizations, assisting commissioners to obtain updated information from Glendale nonprofit arts and cultural organizations, scheduling and coordinating volunteers to conduct surveys, collecting at least 200 arts audience survey quarterly. Just before we came to the commission meeting, I was interviewed by the Glendale News Press. We sent out a press release about needing volunteers for this project. So it is going to be in the newspaper. That information is now on the city's homepage, as well as on GTV6 bulletin board. Hopefully we will get enough volunteers to start collecting audience. And one more thing, the deadlines, I would like to go over about the deadlines of this project. The first two, the most important responsibilities that we have currently is to finalize the list of nonprofit arts and cultural organizations that are eligible to participate at this study. That has to be finalized by March 31st. The second deadline by March 31st is to collect first 200 audience surveys and send it to them. General survey of the nonprofit organizations will be conducted by Americans for the Arts. Directly, they will contact the nonprofit organizations, the names that were provided by us. As soon as they have the list, they will start contacting them and doing the survey. By end of May, if they get companies not responding to their email requests, we will be responsible to get that information, send out the hard copies, and collect the information, send it to the Americans for the Arts. Hopefully, everybody, that's why it's very important for us to collect that information and get their approval of assisting us participating project now.
Okay, so they need to, although we've been planning which of the groups we're going to help with, they need to approve participation first
Of course.
with you.
Yes. Once you contact your chosen companies, you explain briefly about the project and make sure at the end that they are committed, they will commit their time to participate. One thing is very important. This is not a time-consuming project for them. Everything is done automatically. We will do most of the work, or Americans for the Arts, they have their own mechanism to process the data. All they have to do is to allow us, our volunteers, to go to their events, to provide us with their calendar of events. So we will start the scheduling of our volunteers. As well as to fill out, one time they have to fill out the, they call survey for the nonprofit organizations, where they will be giving out their financial information, anything that will help Americans for the Arts to prepare their report about our nonprofit organization. Any other questions?
I have a question, just for clarification. The nonprofit organizations we're looking at 501c3 nonprofit incorporated organizations, is that correct?
Yes. And located in Glendale. That's a must.
Primary address.
Primary
address, and thank you.
But when we are collecting audience surveys, it doesn't necessarily have to be from the nonprofit organization events. It can be an event in the city, arts or culture event in the city, where we would like to know audience how much money they are spending while they are going to those events. Of course, the focus has to be the nonprofit organizations. That's why we would like to obtain the calendar of events.
Question. So first, we need to get their commitment that they're ready to commit to work with us. Then number two, we need to have their calendar of events. Third, to let us send our volunteers that you're going to recruit for us to go to those events to collect.
Yes, and I would like to also have their primary contact person, phone number, email address, so I will get in touch with them and send them the audience survey, some information about the project.
And we do it 4 times a year, or this is just once? How does it work?
This will be only one time for nonprofit organizations. Once we have our finalized list and it's been provided to the Americans for the Arts, then the only thing we will be responsible doing quarterly is collecting 200 names, audience surveys, throughout the year. Quarterly, we have to provide 200 names to the Americans for the Arts for them to finish their survey.
So that means the organizations that each one we have already chosen or will commit ourselves to do.
It's not going to be a new organization every quarter.
Those organizations, they would give us the primary thing till 31st of March. And then on quarterly basis, we'll provide the report of 50 per each.
We're already
program.
behind. Commissioner Deaver, and I'm sorry. We need to have the name of nonprofit organizations as soon as possible. Our deadline to have the completed list for the Americans for the Arts is March 31st.
Gotcha. But the surveys collected, it would be throughout the year on quarterly basis.
Correct. 200 names quarterly.
From each organization?
Not from each organization.
Altogether.
Total.
Throughout the city. Maximum of 50 audience survey can be collected in one event. Let's say if it's an event that takes place at the Alex Theater, it cannot be more than 50 audience surveys. Any other questions?
So if the list is going to be approved March 31st, then...
As soon as the name is available for the organization, for Americans for the Arts, they will start their survey of the organizations. They will be contacting them directly. They will send their own survey forms and give them directions what needs to be done. By May 31st, that's the plan, that they want to be, all the surveys of the nonprofit organizations will be done, which means they would like to collect their financial information, all the other information that there is needed for the project has to be collected by the end of May 31st. In case
March 31st or May?
May 31st, they would like to complete their survey of nonprofit organizations.
Which means the 200 surveys.
That's different.
Oh, okay.
Americans for the Arts will make a survey of the nonprofit organizations in our city. The list and names and the information will be provided to them by us. But the audience survey will be done by our volunteers. That information is on us. We are committed to collect total of 800 audience surveys throughout the year and provide it for the survey.
Now, the information that they will complete by end of May would be that American for Arts is going to contact these agencies to find out what. So basically, when these organizations want to commit to be part of the survey, they should be willing to share all their information. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Now it makes more sense.
Some of these companies have already participated in the past, and they know the process is very painless, and they understand the importance of being part of it, and I'm hoping that we are not going to have any problems with that. Any other questions?
What would you say is your deadline for us to confirm with you that we have contacted, as we divvy up the organizations?
What's today's date? I was just trying to say yesterday. As soon as possible. I do appreciate very much everybody's help in collecting or helping to get connected with our nonprofit organizations. Without your help, it will be us to be on time. I feel already that I'm behind. Some other cities have already started their survey collecting, the audience survey, because it has to be quarterly. We are in mid-February now, and we have only 1.5 months, 100 names.
Not even 1.5, I suppose. Isn't it March?
Less. As long as we come up with 800 by the end of the year, we'll be okay.
I confess, I was, as I left the last meeting, I didn't have I was thinking more in terms of the surveys, and yes, these are the ones I'll go to. I was not clear on what we needed to do in advance, nor have I, and I was also out of town this month some of the time, but
I'm sorry.
Assuming the instructions are all, if I can find them in my email, what I need to be able to communicate with the organizations so that they know what they're getting into and agreeing to.
Sure.
If we have those,
an email with the instruction and direction, what are the main questions that you need to...
I will find that.
Like I can resend you the email.
Sure.
And I might add, I think that there's been an updated spreadsheet with names of organizations and which commissioners are calling whom, and some additional suggestions that have come from the community that could be added to the list. If it's helpful to anybody, I don't know why it necessarily would be, but I did create an email that I used because I found that I didn't have phone numbers for a lot of people, and so I created an email that I was able to send out as an introductory about what we were doing, kind of what the purpose was, and the kind of information that we would need, and I'm happy to share that as a template if that's helpful to anybody.
I'll take it.
That would be great. Thank you. You write very well. I would love to have that.
That's very helpful. They provided us their own template.
Oh, great.
So I have to transfer it, but that's fine. I collect everybody's emails and information from the emails and add on one document, so we will have...
I meant a template, which is actually just a narrative template of the actual text that I wrote to them saying, hi, I'm an arts commissioner, this is what I'm doing. Yeah, and I wasn't referring to
Please
your...
go ahead and email that to me,
Yes,
too.
because I would prefer if we all do a uniform kind of a thing. It looks much more professional.
Fantastic.
That would be very good. Thank you, Commissioner Divan.
Just recently, I met with Tim Koga. He's the executive director of Mona Museum. Was very much interested in part of it.
For the survey to be part, so
be
we could
part of the
ask.
survey.
Very good. We could put her there.
At her name also, Mona Museum.
Actually, may I ask a question? Is the Is the Unity Fest its own nonprofit or no? Okay, thank you.
That's a
And
city.
The event.
Wasn't sure.
I understand you were asking about the Arts and Culture Commission. And
I suppose that's also city. Whatever city
but we don't have a
provides-
nonprofit status, so I have to double check.
Yeah, some of the
not-
information that I read, at least online, and you have certainly the more comprehensive packet of information. It looked like it could be city and departmental, as long as the department or the program within this municipality had its own budget. So Arts and Culture Commission, however slim it may be, does have its own budget, as would other departments that are engaged in artistic activities and programming in the city. So I think it's a possibility, but yeah, double check with them.
I really need to focus my attention on this project and read and understand all the details, all the requirements. You're absolutely right. We should go back and the exact requirements for eligible companies, who qualifies, who doesn't qualify. That's a very...
I think the basic guideline is that do we consider the city, organizations, whatever city provides the departmental activities are going to be in it as an entity, or just its community at large we are thinking of? I suppose we need to find out, because there are lots of things that city does as well, so...
For my 2 cents, I think anything across the board would be advantageous to the results of the survey and would give us the best information to be able to communicate with the community.
I think it will be better if I will contact them directly and get that cleared for...
Because in that case, Unity Fest could also be part of whatever is happening. That there is a cultural event and they combine so many. So we need to find out and then follow up. That's a very good question. Yeah, because a lot is being done by the city and organizations that are connected with the city.
Any other questions? Can we move to the next section?
Yes, next item, please.
No, this is not the next item. This is
Okay.
only part of our...
Next item on her list.
Okay.
You asked for it. Our next, one of our current projects is Maple Park Public Art Project. Project management team meetings, preparing and disseminating call to artists requests for qualifications, convening and managing art advisory committee meetings, preparing guidelines, evaluation forms, artist portfolios for art advisory committee, coordinating site visits with artists, assisting artists with their inquiries and drafting responses with the project manager, monitoring project budget, schedule, and scope of work, coordinating contract preparation and negotiation, facilitating project dedication event, and responding to information requests from the media, public, artists, and other public art programs. Currently, we are in the second phase of the project. We have received all the final proposals. Sometimes next week, we will be sending an email to our Art Advisory Committee to meet and select the final artist finalists for this project. Similar activities will be needed for new public art projects that we have in the parks CRIP projects, such as Griffith Manor Park, Adult Recreation Center, Pacific School, and maybe another one will be added on that list. Our next item is publishing of bi-monthly e-newsletter. I'm not going to go into the details. You already know staff collects and selects materials for the newsletter, but the main force behind editing the text and designing the newsletter is Commissioner Deaver. Thank you for that. Men's Inhumanity to Men. This is not a commission project. I've been attending commemoration events committee bi-weekly meetings, attending and coordinating Men's Inhumanity to Men subcommittee
weekly meetings, coordinating the details of the event. This is a very time-sensitive project, and I'm working very closely with Commissioner Derhovanesyan. She's the chair of the Men's in Humanity project. The original plan is to a short documentary event at the police community room on Monday, April, but it's not finalized yet. I also edit seminars, workshops that has been taken most recently. Making it public. Public art workshop was organized by the Public Art Coalition of Southern California and sponsored by the LA County Arts Commission in Long Beach. This workshop was designed for artists who would like to learn more about how to be successful in doing public art projects. I thought I should be there and learn what they know. The next seminar that I have attended was the meeting of LA County Municipal Arts and Cultural Staff, which was also organized by the LA County Arts Commission. And at this meeting, this was a very valuable, very good meeting. The executive director of the commission, LA County Arts Commission, Laura Zucker, she introduced three speakers. One of them was Tamara O'Connor and Terrence, who introduced us about our Space Finder LA project. I thought that's something very good for us to know and invited them to the commission. Second speaker was Gloria. I don't remember her last name, but she was invited from Getty Museum, and she talked about the art in LA from 1945 to 1985. That was a very interesting presentation. And finally, Gary, I don't remember. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, the name was Gloria Gerens. She's the managing director of Pacific Standard Time, and she's the one who talked about the history of art in LA from 1945 to 1980. Juan Davis is the director of production and program development of KCET, New Media, and he actually approached me. He was very much interested in meeting with me and talk about doing a segment about Armenian arts, knowing that there is a heavily populated, we have a lot of Armenians in. But other than that, he introduced other new initiatives, which is to create and distribute programming focused on the arts and culture of Southern California. I don't know if you heard, but KCET, as of January 2011, became the nation's largest independent public television station. So I'm planning to invite Juan Davis to the commission very near future. I also attended to another public art conference in Laguna Beach. As you can see on this staff report, there are some items that talks about projects that have been completed already or they're on hold. This summarizes my report, my scope of work. Do you have any questions regarding any of these events? Yes, the educational portion, I would like to share it with you. As you know, last year Arts Tune-Up was organized here. We hosted Arts Tune-Up in the city of Glendale, and For the first time, I was able to offer a new topic, the licensing for visual artists, which was very helpful, I think, because after that I was invited to do this topic with the LA County Arts Commission and in other cities like Woodland Hills and Long Beach Museum of Latin American.
And how many hours a week do you work?
I do it with love. Love it.
And I need to add on, of course, I mean, it's unbelievable how many hours and all these connections and contacts. Just one little clarification that sometimes being a workaholic and being a person who knows, who is an expert in the field, like regarding Mass in Humanity, even though this year committee makes sure that it is not a commission event, but they strictly invite Ripsume to make sure that she would take care of a lot of issues that comes with that activity and event. And as a contact person, as a person who knows how to coordinate events of that nature. So somehow, even if she's not on the map, she's supposed to be doing expected by the city as well, you know, not only community. So there are things here that it is put on her agenda because she is, I suppose, who is dedicated and workaholic will end up having all of this, and more so. Thank you, Enia Ripsume. Thank you very much. Thanks for the report.
Well, this is something that we came to the commission in the past, and you have been getting separate reports for each of these projects. But Chairperson Lee asked me to have a brief report also about each project. I believe, like Arts and Economic Prosperity Study project is a long-term project, and we won't be able to come back to the commission every month unless we have something new. Instead of repeating ourselves, I thought I should have a staff report with briefing you about status of each project.
You know, it helps us because somehow, because we call you or email you with issues and agendas and requirements, knowing that what's going on simultaneously helps us also to pace ourselves as well. Thank you.
And I would really appreciate for your understanding if I don't return your emails right away. Sometimes I just...
Actually, this report does help us because we do get, we kind of lose sight of the big picture oftentimes because we're, just like you are, project to project to project to project, and we have to constantly be updated and meet with people, and et cetera, et cetera. And this kind of gives us a nice big scope of what you've done, essentially, Ripsume, what you've done, because a lot of this has been staff time, and we're here as...
I can just frame it and give it to you to hang it in your office.
But we really do appreciate all the hard work that you do put into this, and I think it's quite evident that you do it with love.
And I just want to add, echo that thank you for all the work that you do and the face that you put on for the community, because you're kind of the first stop for much of the interaction, and it's all handled very gracefully, and I actually think you're extremely responsive given all the workload. Question at all for me, so.
Item 5BC, discussion items. At 1, status of strategic plan.
This item was requested by Commissioner Deaver to be on the agenda for discussion. It's a discussion item. You're welcome to share your thoughts and comments. Please prioritize your goals and help the staff better once we understand what are your priorities, and we can go back and assess the accomplishments until now that has been done and go back and decide what needs to be done.
I'll make comment since I asked for it. And I think it actually segues really well with the list of projects that you've been working on, because I think that is sort of the day-to-day things that either are ongoing, they've come to us through different recommendations and requests from the commission and from staff, and I haven't been privy to the work that I know has happened in the past with regard to the strategic plan and the updating. I have really I have complete lack of knowledge of any of that, except for some documents that I've seen. It just feels to me, having a sense as a commission about the direction in which we want to go, based upon the strategic plan, and the direction in which I think that the city is moving towards wanting us to go, in terms of being a much more a body that can provide recommendations, that can be a face for the community and a intersection with the community and the city, and be able to truly advise the city in its decision-making policies and programs as they relate to arts and culture and economic development with regard to the arts. And so my intention of putting this, or asking for this to be on the agenda, was not to say, oh, here, let's come up with new projects that we need to have RIPSA do, but really for us to be able to, for the next year, be able to say, these are things that in general are really important to us. Here's how they fit in the strategic plan, and here's the steps that we need to take as a commission to move towards those. I mean, I know what my goals are, and some of it's kind of come out in some of the things that I've asked, like the newsletter, and some of these foundation elements to me that are important in the communication with the community and with the city, so that we can undertake these other goals and initiatives that we might want to put in place. But I just thought it was important to have a dialogue, so we're all on the same page about where we want to go.
I do believe to be able to do that, we might need to have a study session. If I don't know how to word it, maybe study session is the word for it, to get together and to sit and plan for ourselves to see where we are heading and what is required and what could be the utmost that we can do, what's our potential, and etc. So I would like to see if we could arrange study session for us to meet, and because this is more of a formal thing and we have an agenda of different items, but that one would be specific, us sitting and working and rehashing.
At our last meeting, we gave ourselves the assignment of meeting with our respective council, our appointers. I haven't had that meeting. I did put in a call to Mr. Draymond, so I'm hoping to meet with him. But I'm wondering, I don't know if you all have met, or whether we might want to come up with a couple of questions that, apart from seeking where they see us going, but are we all asking the same questions so that we can come away from those conversations with, some ideas to begin to talk about at a study session. It's been, I don't know how many years since we met at Pacific Edison. There have been some changes, and I think it might be helpful to help frame we have our old document, such as it is, and our list of the kinds of things that we want to continue to support. But
so maybe we should have a study session set, and meanwhile make sure that all of us are in contact, or we have contacted before that, with a council member who has appointed us to see the direction they want us to go as well. So then when we meet, we have a combination of ideas of what we are capable of and what is required of us and all that, so it would make it very comprehensive, and do that, if that could be set ahead of time. It makes it easier for our council people too, because they're too busy to tell them that our deadline is such, and we would like to make sure, if we haven't met already with them, to make sure that we have got our contact.
I just want to say that we constantly come around this issue of strategic plan every couple of years, I think, and partly it's because we come up with the idea to have a discussion about strategic planning, and then all of a sudden a bunch of projects come our way, so we get busy with that and we forget, and then it comes back again. I think it's been about 6 years that I've been on the commission, and I think we've heard this topic come around about 3 or 4 times. So I think it is important, and I think what really we should do is, I mean, the strategic plan for this commission was written I think in 99 or 98 or something about that, 99. And I do remember reading it. So we really have to go back and look at that because a lot of things have changed. I mean, the commission then had an actual budget. I mean, like a legitimately sized budget, and we don't have that anymore. So, and even in terms of our ordinance, there's huge differences. And I think, I can't remember when it was, but about 3 or 4 years ago, we had something like that where we had a study session about this. And I think I brought that up because literally I sat there with a highlighter and went, okay, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. This is kind of, getting in our way a little bit. Because we, in a sense, with some of the projects that we do take, we kind of lose sight of what we're here to do, which is make policy. And we do lose sight of that and getting caught up with projects left and right. So we really do have to examine that and see where we want to move forward with that. Maybe we do need a new strategic plan that can facilitate all that we can do, and we can actually make it possible instead of kind of just living day by day and project by project, in a sense, to have the big picture aspect of things.
Well, checking the municipal code of how and what is required of Art and Culture Commission, I do believe that definitely we do need to meet and discuss, because it seems it was very visionary at the time it was written, and it could apply to a lot of situations that is happening right now. But as a commissioner, I don't see that we were really in those shoes to be doing some of the requirements that was there. But with all the upcoming and new events that is happening in the city of Glendale and all the different decisions that has already been in place, definitely the role of art and culture should be looked upon, decided, discussed, to make it more meaningful, to make it helpful for us to do what we put so many hours of our life, to make it more to the point and to whatever could be beneficial out of this commission. There are wonderful organizations in the community who could do a lot of those activities that we were doing, and it should be theirs, and we should support them, but we need to see what's our guideline. We need to see what the city is expecting now with all the possibilities that we have in place. So it is a mutual thing of where the city is at this point, where the community is at this point, and who are the commissioners here at this point, to see what could be done that we could be of our utmost help and potential for this thing. So for that, I do believe a study session is essential.
Could I think my recommendation would be that that we continue this conversation after we've each had our meetings and come back with sort of reports of those meetings, what the council members are saying, how they see us, what they'd like to see us doing, and then we can talk about having a meeting. I frankly don't want to plan a study session to talk about stuff if we don't on our own. I mean, we've done that.
We don't know our direction.
I think
that is exactly what we talked about. That the date we can set, but before even meeting, we will make sure that we will let our council person also aware that this is our deadline. We definitely need to meet. So we'll discuss with them, and then we'll be prepared when we are coming to our study session to bring in what they want us to do.
I don't want to set up a meeting with my council person framed by a deadline.
Okay.
I want to frame it as we haven't been doing this, and let's start, and let's just see what a sharing, and if they have suggestions for us going forward.
That's fine.
If I might suggest something that's sort of a compromise on that, because I think it's helpful. I would hate to see us be stalled up in our own process by waiting on others, because things happen and it's challenging. But I also understand. I think we don't want to pressure anybody that we need your information now so we can move forward. But I think I would hope that the leaders in the community would look favorably on the fact that we are coming together as a commission and seriously thinking about how we can best help the city along the path that it's going, and that we are planning to meet. We're setting up a date for a study session. Love to meet with you about my own as a commissioner, my own ideas, things that I've experienced that I think would be a great direction, but I also want to hear from them so that we can hopefully bring that into our study session. And that way it's a choice if they want to, but it doesn't hold us up. That's the thoughts that I have on that.
To rehash, does that mean that we want to set it period and then discuss, or should we all go and, because some of us have already discussed with the council person who appointed us, so we could, which way do you want us? Do you want us to wait?
Excuse me, pardon me, Chair Lee and Commissioners. As you recall, this is not an action item, so, this was to give you an opportunity to discuss this, but then, refer to staff for further follow-up, so I don't think you would want to decide really how to approach this quite yet. We can certainly bring it up again on another agenda item, and then you can, decide on how you want to set up this discussion.
Can I, as a discussion item, can I make a recommendation then, or a request that we look into dates for setting up a meeting in the next 2 months? That gives us an opportunity to get onto our agenda. Hopefully, I'd like to see it on the agenda if there's a second on that next month, and that gives us an opportunity to reach out to our individual council members in the meantime as well.
Another thing item to vote on, correct?
So this is going to be an agenda item where you will decide the date of your study session?
Next item.
Item 6, commission staff comments.
I'll go. I thought I wanted to share, this is a newsletter from Verdugo Woodlands, one of our schools, but talking about the busy after-school drama program that's been, thanks to some of the parents, including Marshall Ayers, who is an arts coordinator in Pasadena Unified and a resident and parent here, but also they're bringing the Will Gear Theatricum Botanicum to work with students to do 2 Shakespeare plays and a creative arts course for budding artists in grades K through 6 from one of our Glendale Arts, from one of our friends, Farzad Kohan. So he's doing a Winter Creative Arts painting course, and I thought since he's participated in so many of our events, I wanted to mention Glendale High's Unconcert tonight and tomorrow night, 7 p.m. At the Glendale High School Auditorium. Other events, go on to the Glendale Unified School District, GUSD.net, and check out the schools for other events that are upcoming. We heard a few months ago from Dr. Mary Mason at Mark Keppel Elementary that got underway with they're part of a magnet grant that the district got covering 3 schools, but Mark Keppel, their specialty is visual and performing arts, a program they've been working on for many years. So I want you to be apprised of that, and I should remember to invite you to some of the other events that crop up at our schools, whether it's the Korean language little performances or some of the programs at our other dual immersion programs. Always fun. And going to be reading month, so some of us will be I'll be going to your school, to Glen Oaks. So I'm sure if you'd like to go read at a school, you could find one that would love to have you visit. That's it. I would say that if we want to continue to keep arts programs in our schools, I would encourage you to come to a summit, education summit, being sponsored by California School Boards Association, Region 23, of which we're a part, the LA County School Trustees Association, that's a broader area, our 5-Star Coalition, our PTAs are involved in coming to learn about the effects of the budget on schools. That event is Saturday, March 12th from 1 to 3, also at Glendale High School.
1 to 3?
From 1 to 3 p.m. on Saturday, March 12th.
At Glendale High School?
At Glendale High School in the auditorium. You'll be getting snapshots of programs that we want to continue to have at our schools, hearing from some students as well as administrators. Of course, we invited the governor. We don't know yet if he'll come. It may depend on what the legislature does, but the legislators, all the local legislators have been invited. Many have RSVP'd. They're here to be a listening event primarily for them, although they will have a chance to say something. And we have Ron Bennett, who is, I'd say, the statewide financial guru for schools. School Services of California is coming to moderate for us. So we're excited. This is a continuation in some respects of the event that was put on at Edison Pacific by the PTAs a couple of weeks ago. So we're trying to educate our community so that we can continue educating our students.
Good. I mean, I know that Glendale Unified School District really does a phenomenal job, and not because I belong to that organization, it's just compared to all the different organizations and districts around us, really what we are doing is unbelievable, and especially the dual language programs that it brings in. Language brings in culture. It's not just language that you learn. You bring in a culture within a culture. It's very interesting. There was a TV program which was not specifically about our district, but it was about the dual language programs, and they were talking about Chinese and how American kids are speaking and doing and using even the intonations and etc. That comes with an understanding of the language. And then the interviewer asked the student, the little kid, said, "Why do you think your parents have put you in a Chinese program?" And the kid thought and says, "Because they want to eat Chinese food." I thought that was very cute. But yet, and then the guy turned around and said, "Yeah, there are about 50,000, I think, in all of United States kids who are learning Chinese, but there are several million Chinese kids who are learning English." So if you look at how that works, so I hope with more of languages in the world, people can communicate and understand each other and respect more each other's culture. For Glendale Unified.
I'm surprisingly quiet. I'm good. Shocker.
I think you have really talked and did your best today. You're already tired.
I'll go ahead and comment. I'll just make up something. I'm kidding. I've been at a lot of concerts lately, a lot of good ones, and actually the spring time is the most busiest for artists because there's a lot of people graduating and doing recitals left and right. So, and I'll make you aware of all of them, trust me. Especially those that my friends are doing, etc. But one concert that was, and I reported on it last month. You all remember that the Rachmaninoff International Piano Competition the junior version was going to come to Glendale, and unfortunately it didn't. But I talked with Arment Tatevosyan, who is basically the director of it, and actually he had sponsored a concert in downtown LA at the Colburn School and in Zipper Hall. Excuse me. And it was quite a success. One of my friends, Urfa Zakarian, was singing. She's a soprano. She's quite young, but she's quite good. And several pianists that I later found out that we had studied with the same teachers and had teachers in common. Wow, I don't know what's wrong with my voice today. Oh, it's fine. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of great concerts are happening. I know Lark, the school Lark, actually had a couple of really good concerts, successful concerts, past week or so.
Could I ask a question about Lark while you're at it?
Of course.
Are they doing well? Because they were very concerned for a while, and
well,
there was
I mean,
a problem that
they're doing
close down.
concerts, and I heard that they were actually doing a teacher hunt, so that's always a positive sign. So. And I have a lot of friends that have gone there in the past and actually have graduated and gotten their degrees at the university and came back and are teaching now. So they're still working on a lot of projects. And then my buddy Steve actually cut my hair. So and I wish GTV6 could do like a one of those like
Before,
yeah,
after?
before and after things, because I think you guys all noticed the change. I know Commissioner Deaver commented and on the change. So just thanks, Steve. You're awesome, man.
And hairstylists are artists too, by the way.
And actually, that's always how I walk in. I always walk into a barber, and then they say, "So, what do you want to do with your hair?" I always tell them, think of it like a fine piece of marble, and do whatever you'd like, except it's just hair." So, yeah, and I never comment on that. So they just do whatever they want, and Steve
I
did a
think
great
you
job.
keep your thing in the artistic control arena for yourself. You let others do whatever they
Exactly,
want.
it's the same thing. You know, if I was hired to play a gig somewhere, I would hate if they said, "Armand, can you play this and this and this and this?" To which I would instantly decline the option of playing. But in any case.
Okay, just to recap a little bit, make sure you attend Beneath the Veil at the Alex Theater, March 11th. It's 8 p.m. showing. Alex Theater phone number is 818-249-1428. For me, remember, in the city of Glendale, the municipal municipal election is April 5th. So remember, go out and vote. Do your civic duty. On a different note, the Chinese American Museum will have their 10th annual Lantern Festival. For all you who do not know, Lantern Festival signifies the end of the Chinese New Year celebrations, which technically is supposed to be on the 15th day after the New Year. The museum is having the festival at Alvira Street, 425 North LA Street. It'll be Saturday, March 5th from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Admission is free. There's a lot of different things you can do there, and you can visit the museum, you can visit Alvira Street itself. It will be in the big rotunda area, and you can come by and say hi to me. I'll be running the sound system as my volunteer. So that, again, is on March 5th. Also, make sure contact Ripsame. We need volunteers to help us with this art survey. So, you can contact Ripsame, please. Thank you.
I would like to add something about the Beneath the Veil. There's a gala event connected to that event in the house of the producer and the artist of this event. Those who love to go on one of those red carpets and hang on with celebrities, there are going to be lots of celebrities also invited to that event. So for that information, if you want to be like we watch all the Oscar nights and all the wonderful things and beautiful gowns and etc. and bow ties and whatever, you can contact Elisa Glickman and she would give you the details of what needs to be done to be part of that crowd as well.
Is that the pre-sale VIP ticket you're talking about? There's a phone number here on the card.
Or they could contact whichever way they are, because each committee member has a different role and they could do that part of it. Is this going to be a fundraising event? Well, as they mentioned, the play by itself, after they take care of the proceeds, the money goes for the YMCA and for the other organization that they mentioned in this. So those who do the donation part, they participate in the VIP, but there are certain requirements that she can explain to everyone.
Next item.
Item 7, written communications.
I don't have any. Next item.
Item 8, adjournment.
Thank you all. Have a good afternoon.